heard during this conference. We've heard, especially today's meeting, from what Dr. Smith has said, you know, we need to grow the strength of our association, and you can't really do anything without money. So this is a call for us to take this association higher. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Treasurer. I'd like to call on the President to take any other business. Thank you.
Everyone again. Do we have any other business that we wish to address? Yes, Doctor.
Good afternoon, everyone, again. I'd like to ask what the association's position is on competition from other service providers that are not dental, like spas and beauty parlors, and hiring dental professionals to carry out some procedures. I'd like to know what our official position is.
Well, I think that is... Okay, you have another question.
Once again, I want to thank the secretary for great work done. Since we all agree that the strength of the association lies in membership, what efforts do the national want to make in terms of trying to see that we have branches? Even though I know that we have dentists in nearly all the states of Nigeria, but practitioners, I mean, private practitioners may not be many. We can decide to have them in zones. If there are two contiguous states that can come together and form an association. We have in Ekiti State, we have them in Osun State. What are we doing? You know, please, we should have you know, a strategy, a plan, you know, on ground to help, you know, motivate people. Most times people need to be motivated in a way for them to start a thing. The dentists will be there. They will know that they are there, but if they are, it's not a coming like inspiration from the national, they will not do anything. Because the more you have quite a lot of practitioners out there, I mean, the more revenue we are losing indirectly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let me start by making a comment about what you said. I think in the previous AGM that we had.
Please, an announcement. The following cars: a Hyundai grey color, AAA 129AR, and Nissan blue color, AKK 55AA. Your rear lights are on. Thank you.
Okay, so that AGM, that particular AGM, we had, you know, people coming from all over Nigeria. It was, you know, amazing. We had people come from the East, people come from everywhere. But, you know, everything has slowed down because of the coronavirus. So, but we take on your idea, I think, the idea of having zones, at least for starters, so that people who don't have as many, the strength, can join up with other areas like, you know, maybe in the Southwest, for instance, and stuff like that. So I think that's an excellent idea. As for Dr. Aderibigbe's question, let me let Dr. Mudero answer that.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm a member of an anti-cracking committee in Lagos State of NMA. I represent NDA, and one of the first challenges we had under the able leadership of late retired Commissioner of Police, Joe Emimo, was that while we started the conversation, the medical sector doesn't have standard operations. when it comes to these are guidelines of this is what you do, this is what you do not do in this sense. So when others are encroaching into it legally, there's nothing you can do. That's the stark reality. I'll give you an example because part of the questions at that meeting when we had, there was an associate professor from Luth, an ophthalmologist, who went into explanation in his own field. The optometrists have so much encroached that there's nothing the ophthalmologist can do. Now, this is where the problem is. Part of the things we've learned in the last few days is awareness and our ability to dissuade the public because they don't know better. See, you have a lot of beauty spa, people bleaching skin, practically removing the skin like you're peeling a chicken. And you should think about it that logically a human being shouldn't expose himself or herself to that. But that's what they want, is a choice. One of my ogas, she mentioned it yesterday to me when we were saying that we should stop them from doing whitening. And she was like, why not? When the complications come, they come back to you. But the truth is, we need to create awareness. But legally, you are going to try them under what? MDCN Act. Are they doctors and dentists? Nope. For your information as a dentist, if you do CS, you will go to jail. If somebody that is not in the medical field opens a shop and does CS, he gets scot-free. Why? Because he doesn't have ethics or stuff like that. Now, I'm talking from this legal point of view. So one of the first things that was addressed and we decided to do was each subsector should go back and develop something like an SOP that will now go into policy adoption. Then you have all the legal stuff and all the likes for specialization. Then it gets into the parliament. It has to be passed and approved. Because also in the past, the dentist could tell you that they do this, but you have dental therapies board, you have dental this board and everything. Do you have an idea of what their curriculum entails? You have no idea of what they are thought. So why are you to go and shut their clinics? Now, the other part with respect to whether a dentist should not work under a therapist or otherwise, there's a clinic there's an outlet on the island that I heard the proprietress bought a car for a dentist. I don't know if you heard. How many dentists have bought cars for dentists? So how do you explain to that dentist not to work there? Now, in our laws, opening up of a practice is not restricted to dentists or doctors. It is operational. And I feel the elders felt 5 years because they feel that after 5 years, you should be sensible enough to know what to be done. But we know that is in quoted commas. That's a little I know about the law.
Can I just add a little bit that, okay, when we talk about laws and things, they take a long time and a lot of investigation and a lot of, what they call it, advocacy and a lot of time, which most of us don't have time for really as dentists. However, yes, in a minute, please. I just think that there are lots of low-hanging fruits that we can, do. And part of it is related to us sticking together in an association like this. We can do some things. I believe that we can advertise as an association. Dr. Ishekena will correct me if I'm wrong. I think we can advertise as an association. We can let people know that this is how you can check to see that the person you're going to is a registered dentist and stuff like that. So I think if we do a lot of public, education on teaching people, because I see this sort of thing still go on abroad anyway, to be honest. You see people going to to go and do plastic surgery, under all sorts of strange people. It's when it goes wrong that you hear about it. So to minimize that and to start something, I would suggest that we try to help ourselves by working together and agreeing that all registered dentists should maybe, a patient can go and ask, are you a registered dentist? But we have to educate them on what to do. That's what I would suggest. Dr. Shikena wanted to say something.
Taking it out of my mouth, but I just want to add to that we can, as a group, do what we call maybe advocacy funding to the association, because that's the way to go. Individually, we can fight nothing. I just did a course on cosmetic dentistry. There are a lot of new things coming out there where we're taught how to give Botox injection and that. And the lecturer says, where where you don't have the right people to do it, other people come into the space. There's no vacuum in nature. So you find that a lot of spas and salons do Botox, where it's supposed to be within our field of the head and neck to do if we learn it. But people want to do this thing. So they even go abroad to do it, like doctor said. So if you don't provide the right avenue to do it, they'll go to the wrong places to do it. But what we can do as suggestion is advocacy funding to the association. The NMA Medical Association, they're doing that a lot. And that's why they are fighting things now. I tell you, NMA has sponsored, the little exposure I had is what I'm sharing. They sponsor people to the house. The former secretary of NMA, when I was part of the meeting, I contributed 50,000 of my own personal money, because all presidents of association or affiliates, we had a special funding. So it's not from association money now, it's our own individual money we put into that funding as part to sponsor anybody who wants to go for a political office. They are given, depending on House of Rep, 2 million, this 5 million, 10 million. Depends. So, and then when you now have your people there, you can now use them to get what you want. That is on a higher level, but coming to our own level, well, what I think, which happens in association. I also belong to the Association of General and Medical Practitioners, that's the bigger AGPNPN. What do they do there? They put, apart from our annual dues, no matter how small it is, if it's 5,000, 10,000, we all agree, it's set out for that. As a group, we can do, the lawyer told us, we can get any of these advertising companies. They'll put out an advert for us, we look at it. They will run it just like the toothpaste companies run adverts. When I had meetings with some of the toothpaste companies, I told them, please do your adverts more, because that's the only way the community people know about the dentist, that use toothbrush. And that's what Colgate came with. The international partner came, we had a meeting. I can see the way their advert goes. What is cavity? Who is the dentist? So it's like a kind of promotion or awareness thing. That is what we can leverage on right now. As an association, we gather the funds, we get an advertising company, they make us an advert that promotes our job. And then tell the public that if you go this direction, it's packed, you go to the wrong hands. Look out for these symbols. If we finally will have our logo in hospitals like FMI gave us logo, and then we can begin to grow ourselves. What we need right now is public awareness. If the people don't know what you are doing, like I was going to say, the laws have tied our hands because we're fighting from the angle of the law. We're indirectly fighting ourselves. MDCN came out with no advertisement, no this of those days. Things have changed, internet have come. The traditional medical practitioners are advertising. Everybody is doing their own thing, other people, but except the medical people who cannot, our hands are all tied up. If we do, we are under the law, like we said. They are not. We have brought it all severally at MDCN Council. Why should you allow the medical people to? You don't even go after them. FMR came, they don't go after the quacks, they go after us, the doctors. They now come and standardize your clinic, then the quack is beside you, they let them keep practicing. So we have to change our operations. Let's go through using the modern media also. We talk about it costs money, but I tell you what, the FMR issue with AGPNPN came on when a doctor was slapped. I don't know how many of us got to know about it. Yes, it's in court now. So we were asked to donate money for the lawyer. They have gotten a lawyer who is, one firm about 7 million or more. We have donated to that cause. I have donated because I'm a member there. So because it's one person today, like we're told, tomorrow it might be you. So you have to like help as an association. So they've gone out now to sort out that issue legally so that we can put a stop to all the harassment from that direction. But we need to contribute a little. So what I was trying to say, from the little money of maybe 20, 25 donated by a few persons, I mean, millions started rolling for that cause because they kept putting down the names. And I said this, you might think it's small, 5,000 per person, 10,000, but we'll use it for something and then we'll all get the benefit of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
In 2012, there was a plenary session in the National Assembly. The then NDA president, I think Dr. Olojede, was meant to be involved. It's something that had to do with health. I was still with Dr. Fadansi when we were meant to go. At the chambers, at the gallery, they didn't have doctors to go and represent, apart from the delegates that were meant to be there. And the person that was pushing that bill that was to affect the medical profession was a member of House of Representatives that was financed by his body, Medical Lab Tech.
Okay. I think sometime, when was that? Was that 2019? There was a time when we talked about doing the newspaper advert where we'll put the list of all the dental clinics. I mean, those that will subscribe to it. So we'll put it out and then we'll post this adverts in the newspaper quarterly, you know. So I mean, we came up with how much each person will pay, and then your name will be on that list. And the name of the clinic it was just the name of the clinic. So when people, if we do that, if we implement that, and this thing is regular, I think when people want to use dental clinics, they will go to that list. And then if we can do a logo, and when people come to each clinic and they see the logo of APDPN in the clinic, you understand, they will know that this place is certified. But I wanted to find out these places, like all these spas that are doing these dental procedures, does Hefama, I mean, don't they, does Hefama accredit them? Why? How come they are meant to do that? And then I found out a friend of mine, another dentist, one of our members, she's practicing in Enugu. She called me and said, that these spa people, that people go there, they do teeth whitening, and that their teeth are very white. So I said to her, okay, you send somebody, send two people to two of those clinics, let them pay and find out what they are using. So, and I said, when you find out what they are using, let me know what they are using. So when she found out what they were using, she sent me the thing, one of the things, I think you get it on Amazon. And that stuff has 44%, you know, has 44% of the hydrogen peroxide. I mean, I don't know how they do these things. And then you as a dentist, you can't really go and use something that has 44%. I mean, I don't know if I can do that, but that's what they use to get those whitening, and they'll tell you, oh, the teeth is white and all that. And then, so it's, I think, well, if we go as a body and start with awareness, as so many speakers have said, and follow up with this newspaper listing of all the clinics, I think it will go a long way, since the law is not going after them. What the law wants to do is to go after us that are certified. So does the farmer
according to what was done by one of the committees I was on, Enugu has been regarded as the headquarters of Kwakwi in Nigeria. And the explanation to that is because of the technology school there. So most of the technologies, open schools, medical doctors, open dental clinics, and employed technologists. While I was serving at Adamawa, there was a technologist that presented himself as a dentist, because for my batch, there was just one dentist from College of Medicine in Ibadan. And College of Medicine sent just one person, and that was me. And immediately the guy saw me in the clinic. He escaped, because all the other schools that came didn't have dentistry, so they couldn't distinguish or differentiate. So as she said, the association has plans towards having a partnership. Actually, we have been approached by Nigerian Minting and Printing Press for a dental sale. They had actually approached us for it. It was COVID that made us step it down a bit. And what we intended to do was put a sale, design a sale for each member. Here's the logo and all the likes. Then that comes into the newspaper. Because also we have to be deft in these things. Things are changing and people are, it's the dogs of now that can chase the rabbits of now. Or else we'll do it and next thing we'll solve a problem by creating another bigger problem.
All right. Yeah.
I was going to
talk one
ask.
at a time, please. Thank you.
I was going to ask, do we have an Instagram account? Because yes, so that list
It's
should
all
be on
related.
Instagram,
They're all
actually,
related. They're all
because
related.
I don't know if I don't read newspapers anymore.
Some of us do.
So your generation is not doing teeth whitening.
No, they are.
Ma?
They are. Yes. Listen, this is not a young, old business. You are solving problems as you go. Hold on, please. When you are advertising, you use all. You don't just stick with one. If you analyze how your patients come to you, there will be word of mouth. There will be your signage. There will be Instagram. There will be all sorts of things. It's not one way that you get people to know anything. And you're advertising. It could be a grandmother reading a newspaper that tells her granddaughter that, they said this. So you don't stick to one thing. I know a lot of young people think that social media is the end of the world. It isn't. It isn't. I know, definitely. Yeah, that's the easiest thing to do. It's even easier than newspaper. Cheaper, yes. But that doesn't mean that everybody also gets to see it. Some of us don't like to spend time on social media. So sorry, sir, go on.
The issue of these non-professionals coming into the area of dentistry is becoming a generalized thing. It's becoming alarming. And the method we have used in your state is about working perfectly, but then I started working. Let us not keep to ourselves these problems. Laws are made for man. And then at every point in the evolution of man, there is always a solution to every problem. It is when wisdom has not arisen concerning a particular problem that you say there is no solution. What we did in our state, we felt that we must talk to the legislators. So we have been looking for the speaker for some time now. Ever since the last year, World Oral Health Day, we wanted to make him Oral Health Ambassador so that we can get his audience and tell him what we are facing. And we also I wrote a memo with about 15 terms of reference. I think I shared it with you. And those terms of reference were holistic. We saw that everybody must be involved. If you are attacking the spouse and the populace, the community around doesn't know why you are doing that. Like recently, I saw two ladies sitting at the power office with an IV line, dangling from their arms. They said they are taking glutathione or something. So it's as bad as that. So, and somebody joked and said when it was happening in toothwriting, nobody was talking. Now it's going to IV line, So if we keep on saying the law, we will not do anything against our law, but we must evolve new methods. we must support new methods. So this idea of lawmakers is germane. We can begin to do what we call advocacy to see whether they can listen to us, because each state can actually make its law. There was a time I saw in Lagos State here something about community health extension workers. Yeah, something about them. I don't know whether on the negative side or but they said they cannot do certain things, and I think it was a plus for doctors. Likewise, if we begin with our states and then begin to look at what doesn't go against the ethics or the regulations of the NDCN and say, okay, these people are doing what they are not supposed to do. That is on one level. The second level is for NDA, our association, to work with NDA. What we do in our place is now, you will see an advertisement, we quickly know the quacks, because they will put up a signboard, write everything from head to toe that they are doing, even though they cannot do that. Then we get the phone number, email, and whatever he puts there. And then we'll talk to NDA with ADPN and civil defense or police, along with members of the transport administration, bombard the place. At our level, we should see, the thing is that these guys are they are not as brave as we think they are. Immediately you let them know, they too will understand. But it will keep them saying that nobody will talk about it. They keep on going. They keep on, that's it. Ordinary stigmatization is enough. That you say, oh, you are a quack in this environment. And we are even reaching out to the chiefs, because we understand that at times you go after them. If they are entered into alliance with the community through the community leaders, they will say, we don't have any doctor in this place, so this is the only one we have, please leave it. But if you make them to understand that, no, this guy is doing more harm, I always say, will you give your car to somebody who never learned how to drive? That's just the question. So if you begin to leave quacks to do all this, they will know. Then lastly, I think the association, they have trade unions now that you can engage. And why I say you can engage them is that those trade unions also have an organ they report to at the state level. Then you can engage them. Some of them are reasonable. It's like when you go to get a good driver, you go to NURTW. The RUTW man will tell you, this driver is a drunkard, don't take him. And he will tell you this is reasonable, you may pay for it. So it's not all of them that are unreasonable. I think we just have to reach out. We cannot continue to allow this thing to continue. Thank you so much.
How patients do it. Usually, patients will call you and say, is that so clinic? I want to know how much people do extractions. You know, and it's very annoying. We are turning dentistry into buying and selling business. You know, and because our people always tell them those things, and then a patient will sit in one corner and ask 5 clinics and go to the cheapest one, which doesn't necessarily mean the best for the person. So we need to know that the patient can call you. A patient can only call you for an appointment or direction to your clinic, not for a price of any treatment whatsoever. How much do you do scaling and polishing? It's very annoying. And some of them, when you tell them that this is not dentistry, you need to come to the clinic first to get examined. They get angry. What do you mean? You are being unruly. You are being this, and they start insulting you because a lot of your colleagues do that. We need to stop it. Medicine is not, or dentistry is not buying and selling. People can't get to know the cost of any treatment from on the phone. You know, how much people do bleaching? How do people do filling? You know, it's becoming so rampant, and every day it keeps increasing. I will get the minimum of 10 calls every day asking me for that, and it's becoming very annoying trying to explain to people, and they will never get to, because when they call other clinics around you, they tell them the cost. So please, let us just tell our colleagues to stop this. This is not medicine or dentistry. Thank you.
Dr. VP, you're not supposed to be answering your own phone, remember? From what they said this morning. So
Madam President, you don't want to react to that?
which one?
What the Vice President just spoke about.
Okay, I will react to both.
You are still the President.
Dr. Jidale, I like what you've said, but you know, I just wonder sometimes, you know, having been in the EXCO for too long, sometimes we try to do some things. People will complain and they will tell you somewhere in Okokomaiko. Then we'll say to ourselves, okay, we need to verify and all sorts of things. And then to go from Ikorodu town to Okokomaiko or first, it's just so stressful in Lagos, and maybe if our numbers grow, we can say to Dr. Odushate, please, they say somebody in Bagada is doing this. Can you stroll down and just check or something like that? So that for us in Lagos is one of the problems. Of course, as practical and private practice people, to be honest, you don't want to leave your office at 8 o'clock in the morning just to go and check whether somebody really, is doing bleaching and all sorts of things in, like I said, maybe Okokomaiko, and you are stuck in traffic and you are losing patients. Sure, you understand. So those are the difficulties, but I like what you said. Perhaps I always say, all you need is 1 or 2 examples. If we can catch 1 or 2 people in areas that are convenient, and we can do that, storm them, because I know what storming means. It's very frightening, In those days, they used to come and storm us. Luckily, Dr. Smith is gone. Storm us in Ann Christie. Have you paid your tax? Have you, it's really frightening. So I think even that alone, like you said, is something. Then as for people asking about prices, I agree with you to an extent, in that sometimes, not that I tell my people to tell prices, it's not that I don't, but I'm just saying that sometimes people genuinely want to know, and so you have to qualify whatever answer you give them with, you have to come in and let us have a look, because you can't tell somebody an extraction is, let's say, 10,000. And then he comes in and he needs a surgical with some roots that are, So one thing that I can say is that you can maybe, if need be, just give a range. Dr. Okiza says what? Yes, give a range and say that the doctor is the one that will decide. Yes, you say it goes from 10,000 to 50,000, let's say. No, but that's what I'm saying, that, yes, but doctor, yes. So you engage the patients. Well, okay, so basically,
because people say that one doctor there, things are changing, and then change. There are supposed to be doctors who diagnose people with you understand? And this idea of somebody has to go somewhere, first you are there asking for whatever status they have to participate. I think the best thing, I'll give them an example. I was on a project when a patient calls me that, please, my connection in the hospital. In my hospital. Now, I have partners who do that. Who work in the hospital. Now, should I begin to tell the patient that fibroidectomy will start from anything like 120 to 150? It will be inappropriate, because you cannot even know what fibroidectomy you are doing until you see all the things that are lodged in the uterus there. But they see me as the owner of the hospital and they feel that, and I will just cleverly tell them that, please come. In fact, one was done by a pastor. He said, the patient is here, has gone somewhere else. I want to know whether your own clinic is better. I say, There's no way. You can imagine. I said there's no way I could have known. So I think, man, let's stick to who we are and what we are. God is my witness. I've never answered that kind of thing. In fact, just today, here I got a case for scaling and polishing. The man is my patient, Dr. Uku. Oh, you are here, our common patient. I referred that patient to him and he refers him back to me. Now he said he wants it done and something. He said, doctor, please, this is somebody that has been coming to me for almost 8 years. He said, I learned that things are expensive now. How much is it? I said, until you come. And I keep on saying, until you come. Because immediately I tell him something, perhaps he's going to call another dentist and say, okay, despite the fact that he has been with me for a long time, I mean, I must continue to make myself look important. So I linked him up with my doctor and I told my doctor, this is the amount. And please don't give him the amount until he comes, to the clinic. So he will be in the clinic. So I think we should just teach ourselves these things that will help, blow up our status and our dignity. By the time people start asking you, for okay, one day they will ask you for RCT. Whether it is 2 canals, 3 canals, or 4 canals. Yes, that is it.
Okay, can I just say that we can't really control what patients ask, but if we're going along the line of we're professionals. In the first place, you shouldn't be answering that call. So if a patient is calling you and is asking you about pricing, you're either referring the patient to your receptionist or your website or whatever it is. You shouldn't even, and I think even the lawyer today spoke to us about that. So I think some of us are trying to do too many things. So you can't really control a patient, 10 patients calling you to find out how much your S&P is. It's the patient's prerogative. If they are looking for the best deal, it's up to them. But at the end of the day, even with referring them to the reception, you need to always let the reception know that until a doctor actually sees them, you don't know what, so it's training. It comes back to us, Dr. Mohammed, that's what I'm saying. We can't control 20 people calling. There are a lot of shoppers with Instagram. Most people are shoppers. They are looking for deals. They are looking for the best rates. We can't control that. No, I'm saying it's a two-pronged attack. One, you can't, 1 second, please. One, you can't control the calls. Two, if we really say we're professionals, we shouldn't be answering those calls.
One else. Also, part of the things still boils down to how the dentists and how the doctors are trained. Because when we are trained under people that put you through the process, you will understand how to individualize managing cases. I left Dr. Fadamsi about 6 years ago. And when I want to apply topical anesthesia, I remember her voice. So for me, I feel this call issue. Well, maybe because some of us are restless. When you ask that question with me and I engage you, you will come. It's just natural.
I just wanted to, yes, I think we need to move on, but can I just say one last thing before you kick me out? Is that honestly, we need to understand that we need to engage, learn to engage people. A patient can come to your chair anyway. He's come in to talk to you. And then you say to him, yes, my implant is 350,000. And he'll say, okay, thank you. And he will go. You can still go to the next place. And that one says is 250. So in terms of, at some point, you have to say what your price is. So that's why I say you have to engage. Sometimes people come to our clinic and they'll say, your own is too much. When I go to